Hey everyone, this is the last bad day here, and today I'm going to try something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be creating a tier list for Joker's different variations, or the variations I believe are actually worthwhile. Fortunately, Joker is a character that has quite a bit of variety in his customs and what you can use in different matchups, and just to change up your playstyle or have fun. And yeah, today I'm going to be breaking down what some of his top variations are, the ones that you might want to be using in a more competitive setting, or some of his more fun ones. And yeah, just kind of taking a look at how his different custom moves can work together. So yeah, I apologize in advance if it's kind of clunky in the editing side. I don't have or my computer's kind of messed up right now, so I'm just going to be doing this through the PS4 editing program there. But yeah, bear with it, and let's get into it. So, to probably no surprise of anyone, I think that the very best Joker variation is Kapow and Jumping Jester. Um, yeah, we saw Sonic Fox use this to great effect in multiple competitions since customs have been released. And I think that overall, for the kind of character that Joker is, this gives you kind of the whole package. The only thing I'd say about this variation that some of the other ones have a little bit easier is more neutral control. With this variation, you are really forced to get in on your opponents and play really solid footsies. Whereas some of the other variations that I'm going to list, you can kind of bypass certain parts of neutral, or you don't need to be kind of pushing in on your opponent most of the time. So in this variation, Joker gets a few new combo routes off Kapow, as you can see here. He also gets probably the best ender for plus frames, and in terms of like being able to back off and start his pressure. So it's the basic combo. You're pretty plus. You can backdash, assert his range, that kind of stuff. He also gets setups for the cost of a bar at the end of combos, like mid-screen and in the corner. These probably aren't the optimal ones, but I'm just showing for the sake of showing. And on top of all the Kapow damage, he gets solid damage off his low too, meterlessly. So I think for the second Joker variation, I'm going to put an S tier, is going to be Kapow and Batsy Pew Pew. You still have great damage with Kapow, and you can just do like a double down 2 combo after the launch, and it's still big damage. As well as he actually can kind of have a more use from doing off a launch like 1-2-1 into 4-2-1 Kapow and sending them full screen, because you can actually start zoning them now. Whereas before, I don't know, it just felt like you didn't really want to do that as much. So yeah, I mean, you're losing a little bit of damage in the corner and a little bit of plus frames in the corner, but I think it also makes up for it in terms of the neutral control that he has. Batsy Pew Pew is not like the greatest anti-zoning tool out there, but it does go under a lot of projectiles, especially certain characters that have like an EX projectile where there's 2 hits and they're both highs or something like that. You can usually react to it and punish them, and the damage is really good too. It's like 18%, so it chunks them quite a bit, and the chip's really solid. So yeah, for any character that doesn't have a teleport especially, or really relies on high projectiles for zoning, this variation can be really good, because You kind of have a presence anywhere on the screen. So for our third variation in S tier, I'm going to have to go with Kapow and Boing. This has been the one I've used probably the most in online events and offline events too. And yeah, what's there to say about this one? While Boing kind of changes up his playstyle in a sense, where you have a lot more presence at full screen to kind of get over projectiles or get in quickly. There's also, you know, different setups you can do where you Boing at a certain distance and whiff a normal close to the ground, so they whiff and you punish them for it. Yeah, I think it, like, the damage is still really solid. It's similar to Kapow Betsy Pew Pew, where you're maybe not getting as much damage or kind of plus frames as you would with Kapow Jester, but there is a great use for this, and I think it does well against certain characters for sure. And you know, for people where maybe footsies isn't their absolute strongest point, I think this does give them a bit of an easier time as well, because you don't need to play that more patient walk down game all the time. So for the first one for A tier, I think I'm going to choose Jumping Jester, Boing, and Bassy Pew Pew. The reason I choose this is because this is much more of a kind of space control utility-based setup. You lose a decent amount of damage, especially mid-screen, by not having Kapow. However, you have a lot of screen presence. So Jumping Jester, you know, you can use it for setups, but you can also just kind of use it in neutral better with this variation, right? Because they're kind of thinking twice about whether you're going to Boing in or whether you're going to do the gunshot. Yeah, this is kind of more of like a zoning variation. You can actually kind of lame people out with it, especially because, you know, if you get your turn and they're not reading that you're going to do it, you can like do 1 or 2 hits off a 3-hit string and just like Boing over their head and go back to full screen and keep zoning them if you have a life lead. And yeah, between Jumping Jester, back forward 4, and Betsy Pew Pew, well, and your normal gunshot, you have a lot of screen control. So yeah, kind of a different playstyle than the others, but I think it has some good purposes. So for the second one of A tier, I think it's got to be Ace of Knaves, really. I don't think Ace of Knaves is bad by any means. Sure, people got better since Joker was initially released and have figured out more of the gimmicks that this variation has. And yeah, you have to play, you know, like a really solid rushdown kind of neutral get in game. But once this variation gets going, you can lock people down so hard with both the traps that they're constantly like second guessing if they're going to move in or if they're going to move out, like where the traps are going, your plus frames. You know, you can mix in a lot of different baits and stuff like that. I think it's still a pretty tricky variation and has a lot of potential to just overwhelm people. For the third variation in A tier, I think I might have to go with Kapow and Corpse Trot, actually. So I do believe that overall, the way that like kind of Joker's optimally played, back forward 4 is a huge, like the regular back forward 4 is a huge component of his game plan. And Corpse Trot just straight up isn't as good. uh, there are so many people now who can just react to the ending being a high or a low. And yeah, you know, if you do the low and you burn a bar, they're going to take some chip. But if you don't, they're just going to like neutral duck it and punish you for it. So you're pretty much having to burn a bar every time, and you lose that way to kind of get in and create different situations in neutral with without having like the regular back forward four. So yeah, as you can see, in the corner, he gets a meterless 37 basically percent, um, and with Kapow he gets like 42 for one bar. So, and I mean that's without fatal blow cancel and stuff too, which is more. Um, so if you can get them to the corner with this variation and you can open them up, you only need to hit them like twice to kill them basically. So yeah, that's an upside. So I'm actually gonna go back on that, on my placement of Kapow and Corpse Trot, and move it down a tier, because I totally forgot about Madman. And so that is Kapow and Getting Lit. And Getting Lit is an alright move. It has some uses. You know, there's a little bit to it. It can be kind of easy to blow up, but if you get it out, especially in the corner, then it can be really solid and it can lead to a lot of damage. The main reason that I put it above Kapow and Corpse Trot is because you still get the back forward four. You get the regular one, and yeah, I mean, Kapow and Getting Lit it's good just because Joker's good. But I mean, if you're looking for like a kind of setup move with Kapow, I think it's better to just go with Jumping Jester anyways, because it just has more utility and you're still getting a lot of the same kind of setup situations. But I don't know, Kapow and Getting Lit, options there if you want to set some fires and shit. So from there we have in B tier, Jumping Jester, Boing, and Getting Lit. This variation, I think, has some good rushdown potential. I mean, you have two different kind of trap moves, you know, for different knockdown situations. You have Boing to help you get in easier, or, you know, avoid zoning. Yeah, I mean, I think it's all right. You know, you don't get a lot of damage unless you're in the corner, but it's there. And I think it can be fun and useful in certain situations, especially like if characters have a tough time um, punishing Getting Lit on block if you space it correctly. And just, I don't know, it's all gimmicks, but it's a fun variation. So, kind of rounding out B tier, I'm pretty sure this is the variation that I initially saw Jet Ring use when he started competing. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was this one. And I think this variation's all right. Like, it has decent space control with Boing and Betsy Pew Pew. Really solid damage in the corner with Corpse Trot. Yeah, I think just really what makes it worse than some of the other non-Kapow related variations, and is I just think that Jumping Gesture is a better move, and that it has more utility than Corpse Trot because you can still launch to the corner with it. It's less damage, sure, but you just get more overall presence, and you get increased options with it. So, but yeah, if you're looking for something that has kind of a different playstyle, this one's not a bad option by any means, and it's been used in competitive play too. So for our C tier, It's been a little while since we've seen Kapow, but I think this is probably the worst Kapow variation that you could get away with. So that's Kapow and Puppet Parry. The parry itself, like, you can use it in certain situations, and it can be used actually to punish people who flawless block certain attacks. But I think you're losing a lot by taking it compared to the other things that you can do with Kapow. And Joker also, I mean, if you really need a parry too, and you're willing to wait till 30% life to do it, he has the flash parry with his fatal blow cancel as well. So I just don't really see why you'd take this one, but if you're really into the parry and you, I don't know, want to get the brutal or something, then yeah, it's there. So for second place in C tier, this is one of my favorite variations in the entire game, is Hostage Hop and Jumping Jester. I think that if you are committed to using Hostage Hop, which is by all means a great move in the corner actually, because when you set it up you can stuff pretty much every wake up option and get plus frames to continue your pressure. Like it's a really good move in the corner. It just is useless pretty much mid screen. And you know, by taking Hostage Hop, which is 2 slots, you're losing a lot for that in a Jumping Jester build like that. Like you're losing either 2 moves or you're losing Kapow basically. So kind of a gamble that you're going to get them in the corner, and also that you're going to be able to walk them down and keep them in there. I think this, like if you're running Hostage Hop, the only choice you have is to run Jumping Jester, because you need some way to launch them so that you can set up Hostage Hop safely. And without Jumping Jester, like you're basically just relying on KBs, and you know, good luck with that. So, but it is a fun variation, and if you know, especially for casual matches or something like that, if you just want to have a good time, then give it a shot. I'm gonna put this one the bottom of this tier. I have seen some people use it before. It, to its credit, can be a very annoying zoning variation, because you have the space control through Bet's Pew Pew, back forward 4, straight gun shot, and then now Jack in the Box to create like this minefield that they need to get through to get up to you. The problem is that you just don't do a lot of damage. You need to hit them so many times. Jack in the Box EX will launch, I guess, but you have to basically do that on a standing hit or on block, because you're not, unless you launch them with 1-2-1, but other than that you have no way to set that up on their knockdown. I like, aside from a crushing blow as well, but yeah, I mean, in this variation, I think you're really just trying to keep away from them. You know, you can get decent damage by doing like a 2-hit string into Batsy Pew Pew or something. Yeah, I'd keep this one kind of more for the casual games, but it can be fun if you just want to like piss somebody off. So for any other variation, I'm not really going to list it here. Yeah, there's just certain combinations of moves that I don't think are really worth it at all. You know, like actually, you know what? That's not true. You could do, maybe you could maybe get away with Corpse Trot and Jack in the Box if you wanted like this really, I don't know, kind of niche corner pressure variation. But other than that, I mean, like, this move is absolutely worthless. I'm not even gonna go into that. Yeah, and just other stuff like getting lit, Jack in the Box, like, or getting lit, Hostage Hop. Like, why would you do that? You just can't ever set any of those moves up. So yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty much it for the Joker variations that I think could be used. And thanks for watching. And if you like this content, feel free to give me a sub or follow on Twitter. And yeah, and hopefully I'll be able to make some more videos in the future. Thank you. Bye bye.